ChatGPT 4.0 has come out now with this voice and video function, which is I think is super cool. If you've not played around with it, I think that you guys should definitely spend the time to do so. So I want to just share with you really quickly, like this is, I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you guys, but I definitely want to spend a minute really showing you something. So I'm just going to do the role play version so you guys can kind of get an understanding of exactly what we're talking about. So watch this for a second. So this will be interesting. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Doing great, thank you. I'd like to set up a role play example. I am a commercial real estate agent and I prospect commercial real estate property owners. I need to work on my sales scripting and I would love for you to be the seller. I'll be the real estate agent. And if you can, also try to give me some objections so I can practice my conversion ability.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help with that. Let's get started whenever you're ready. Just let me know how you'd like to begin.
Hi, Nancy. This is Henry with EXP Commercial. How are you?
Hi, Henry. I'm doing well. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. I was calling you because I work with a couple investors that are looking for properties just like yours, and I was curious if you would be totally against selling your property here at 123 Main Street.
I appreciate the call, but I'm not really considering selling right now. We've been holding on to the property for a while, and it's performing quite well.
I can obviously appreciate that, and I know I'm calling you out of the blue, and I'm sure you get phone calls like this often. However, is there a number where if you did get it, you at least might be open to selling the property?
Well, I haven't really thought about a specific number. It's been a good investment for us, and we're not in a rush to sell. It would have to be a very compelling offer to even consider it.
For sure, that obviously makes sense. Well, look, I could definitely work on, in the meantime, a pretty strong offer to at least get you something to consider versus, us just kind of chatting about it. So I'm curious, is there any offers that you've received in the past that you've declined so I know that we can at least try to be in a ballpark above that?
We did receive an offer about 6 months ago that was around $2.5 million. But we declined it because it didn't quite meet our expectations. If you can come up with something significantly better, we might be more open to discussing it.
Yeah, awesome. So, I mean, do you feel like significant is 3 million, 3.5 million, 4 million, 2.8 million? Where do you feel like we need to be ballpark wise?
I think if you could come back with an offer around the $3.5 million mark, we might be more willing to entertain the idea. Anything lower than that probably wouldn't catch our interest.
I can completely understand that. So just to clarify, because I obviously want to get you the best price possible to at least give you something to consider like we've been talking about here, and obviously I'll do my best to get you around that 3.5 million mark. Would you be able to quickly just let me know how many units are in the building and a rough idea of how much money on a monthly basis you generate in gross income?
The building has 20 units, and we generate roughly $50,000 in gross income per month. Does that help?
So I'm going to pause it here. Obviously, the income is whatever, right? She's basically telling me that this is a 12 cap building, but you get my point, right? So you can work through a bunch of these types of objections. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for you to kind of practice and role play with somebody where you don't have to worry about having a role play partner all the time. You can so a couple cool things about this, right? I'm just going to pause it there. What's interesting about this platform is, number one, it's literally in the ChatGPT app. You can start it up very quickly. I mean, it took me about 30 seconds to get her up and running, and obviously there might be a little bit of clunk, so it might be a little clunky kind of function-wise at the very beginning. But once you get rolling, I think they do a very good job. What you also can do is give them property information and say you're going to be the seller, you're going to be the owner of this property with some details if you'd like. You can get it as specific as you'd like to be. You could also have them say like, hey, like an objection that I'm trying to work on is X, right? Like, I am struggling to set appointments because sellers say that they're not interested in selling. Can you say that you're not interested in selling? And I'm going to try to set an appointment anyways, and try to give me as many objections as you possibly can. And after a certain amount of objections, do not tell me how many objections you're going to give me, but after a few, I want you to let me allow me to set the appointment, right? Because you want to let yourself win. Right, because to show you that it's possible, right? You don't want to keep setting yourself up, and you object. You overcome 7 objections, and then they keep just saying no. So, but the point is, like, after something between 3 and 10 objections, you want me to eventually get the appointment. But you can set them up that way, and I think it's a very, very interesting and very lucrative way to practice your sales skills, practice your specific objection handling skills, and also the coolest part is that it actually logs it. So it actually logs what I say, what she says, what all back and forth. So you have the entirety of the conversation saved, which is super cool, and everything's here on the phone. So you can actually look back, see what they say, see what you said, see maybe you could have said something better, and then watch this. This is really cool. I'm doing a live training right now. So can you give me some feedback based on how I did and how I can improve?
Of course, Henry. You did a great job of maintaining a professional and polite tone throughout the conversation. Here are some specific points of feedback. 1, Establishing rapport. You did well in starting the conversation politely and acknowledging that your call was unexpected. This helps to put the seller at ease. 2. Addressing objections. You handled the initial objection about not wanting to sell very effectively by probing for a number that might change their mind. This shows persistence and a solution-oriented approach. 3. Probing for information. You smoothly transition to gathering more detailed information about the property, which is...
Do you mind if you give me some constructive feedback? I just wanted to, I appreciate you think that I did a great job, but can you give me some feedback and things that I can improve on?
Here's some constructive feedback focused on areas for improvement. 1. Pacing and listening. Sometimes in eagerness to gather information or move the conversation forward, it's easy to talk a bit too much or too quickly. Make sure to give the seller ample time to respond and show that you're actively listening by acknowledging their points before moving on. 2. Empathy and connection. While you were professional, adding a bit more personal connection can help build rapport. For example, acknowledging their reasons for holding on to the property and expressing understanding can make them feel heard and valued. 3. Specific value proposition. Highlighting specific advantages your investors might bring or unique selling points of your service could help. For instance,
anyways, you guys get my point, right? And then it logs everything actually in the conversation chat box. It actually even gives me all the points of how I can improve here on my phone. So you can copy and paste that, put that in a note, and you can try to work on those things. So it's a fantastic platform for you to practice, right? It's a great place for you to practice, get feedback in real time, allow you to kind of see where your faults are, overcome specific objections, not worry about other people's schedules and have to correlate with, another person. So anyways, I think that in regards to role playing and practicing of your scripts and objection handling, it might be one of the best I've ever seen, to be honest with you. I think this is actually one of the best opportunities we have here as agents for practice purposes. Obviously, the one thing I want you to keep in mind is this is why I don't have VAs or ChatGPT making my sales calls for me, because it's they don't know the languaging, right? And they don't, they might not know how to pivot. And don't get me wrong, I think we're definitely going in the right direction, for sure, people, right? We're going in the right direction. There's a huge opportunity ahead of us of what this is going to be capable of, right? Making calls for us, doing follow-up calls. You got it, really. I mean, there's obviously a lot of opportunity, but obviously it's not at a place where I would trust them making phone calls on, thousands and thousands of sellers, right? It's just not there yet, but definitely very lucrative for us to use for practice purposes. So super cool. I definitely I would spend some time playing around with it. This is, again, just the ChatGPT app under 4.0. You'll see, let me see if I can at least show you the app here. So it's the ChatGPT app. I don't know if you can see that there. It's the white one. ChatGPT. So anyways, but you guys can see that, so anyways, and I have my own account. I pay for the premium. I don't know if you need premium, but it's 4.0, okay? It's not just ChatGPT 4, it's ChatGPT 4.0. And it looks like this at the top. I just want to make sure you guys can see this. So at the very, very top there, it says 4.0. That's what it looks like.